The purpose of this presentation is to give an overview of my possible research study that I have been writing about for the final application assignment. Here I wanted to focus on collaboration and to determine if the collaboration model would be able to improve student achievement among fifth grade students of poverty in the area of reading. So one of the things I did to try to see if there was an actual problem with our reading program in achievement among our students of poverty with our fifth graders was to pull some information, and one of the sources of information I pulled was the Virginia Department of Education's website from our school, which is called Hunter B. Andrews. And the website gave us information regarding our reading performance in English. 75% accreditation benchmark was what we needed to get. Year one, we had a 79%, so we met it and exceeded it. Year two, which was the 2012-13 school year, we exceeded that as well. And then year three, we had a major dip there of a 58% pass rate. So we did not make it in year three that the school had been open. And one of the things I wanted to point out was that the school is fairly new, is in its fourth year. I am currently the second principal of the school, and this is my first year assigned to the school. The other source of information from the same website I wanted to get was information regarding our students of poverty. And you'll see here the AMOGO, which is the annual federal measurable objective is at 62 that students had to get, and we actually got a 51%, so we did not meet it. But when we averaged the 3-year averages in, we did actually meet that goal. Then, as another source of information that I wanted to gather from to see if there was continuing to be identifying the problem with our fifth grade students of poverty, I went to a website which is open to the public as well, which is called School Digger. And any person can go into this website, put in the name of their school in the state that that school is located in, and you will get the information for that particular school. So I was able to pull Hunter B. Andrews's information for reading, fifth grade at that. And you see here in 2011, the school had a 76% pass rate, but I wanted to do a comparison as well with the district. And you'll see the district has a 76% pass rate and the state is an 89%. So we were equal with the district that year. However, in 2012, we made a 69%, so we did not meet the benchmark of at 75%. The division did, so therefore the division outscored us, and the state continued with the 89% pass rate. But something happened again in 2013 compared to what was reported on the state schools report card, and we as a school scored a 59%, 57%.2, the district with a 63%.8, and the state dropped to a 73%. So something was there with that particular year of testing. Could have been the format of the test or the rigor of the test. But there again, that is public information that can be solicited from or retrieved from School Digger. I wanted to look at the local school now. What data were we able to get from the local school? So they're again looking at students in fifth grade. This is the current year. This is the first 9 weeks of the current year. The school, there again, Hunter B. Andrews, pass rate in fifth grade. Reading was a 60.2%. But looking at the students of poverty, we had a 60.5%. Now, the cut score that the division set for this particular assessment was at 70%. So you'll see in both cases, overall as a fifth grade level, and as students with poverty, neither one of us met that benchmark. I wanted to use the same website, the same source, Interactive Achievement, and look at the second quarter's reading assessment. So there again, same school year, same grade level, and the second 9 weeks. Because of the change of the test that the district made, they dropped the cut score because of the rigor of the test and the more intense the test was. We dropped this cut score to 62%. Now, our fifth graders did not quite make it again, and we have a 57.6%. Now, looking at my at risk students, we have a 58.1%. So, there again, all the data is pointing to that there is a problem or a local issue with our fifth grade students of poverty not being successful in reading. But I wanted to also take an additional step, and look at what was the school doing? How were we tracking the data for our own fifth grade students? And you will see here, um, you have fifth grade in a Google document that we create ourselves, and these reds indicate that these individuals did not meet the benchmark. So therefore, it continues to point, the data continues to point in the direction that we do have a problem with our fifth grade students of poverty. Now that we've suggested that there is a problem there, what is the proposed solution? Well, one of the things I wanted to propose was implementing a book program or a reading program. So I located one from entitled Book Adventure, and it's actually by Selling Learning Center, and it's actually free. So what I want to propose is that teachers can actually use this. It is interactive. It is also will help students at their with their reading at their own pace. Teachers can actually go in and they can create their own book list. And students can, after they read the book, students can take assessments and they will get immediate feedback from their assessments. From that, teachers can generate a report that they could use in order for them to better approach the particular skills that students would need interventions with. So let's click out of this and let's actually go to the site. So now I'm looking at the Book Adventure site. I will type in my username and I will put in my password and hit submit, and it's going to take me into this page. Here you will see the teacher's homepage. There are quizzes that can be taken by the students. We can actually find a book. There's a prize library, so students are able to get incentives to keep going with the program. There are additional resources that teachers can actually go and use for their classrooms, and it also generates a report. So this website would be a helpful website in order for teachers to have an additional resource for them to continue to help their students improve. The second solution that I want to suggest is creating a collaborative culture, and I want to identify what that requires. So in order for us to have a collaborative culture, we have to have vision. So the vision helps us to determine where we are going and how do we get there, and that is through professional learning communities, and teams and individual team members will have to have a clear shared goal, meaning that this is going to move away from teacher isolation and bring them into a more collaborative structure where they can actually teach and discuss students, their data analysis, and develop interventions and lesson plans. However, with a collaborative culture, it involves stakeholders. I want to talk a little bit about the internal stakeholders. How do we get our teachers involved, instructional assistants involved, interventionists, coaches, building administrators, family engagement specialists, custodians, and cafeteria workers? It takes all of us working to collectively in order for us to help improve student achievement. I also want to highlight one very primary stakeholder that we must not forget about. We must remember our students. The students are the internal stakeholders, the primary internal stakeholders that we need to also bring to the table. And when we talk about student data, we must not forget that students, there are faces behind the data. We can't forget the students. How do we hold them accountable? How do we bring them to the table? And what do we talk about when we get to the table so that they will be inspired to continue to be learners of quality? In addition to the internal stakeholders, we have to look at the external stakeholders. How do we get the external stakeholders involved? Title I supervisors and coordinators, curriculum leaders, parents and families, and also community partners. Because it takes all of us there again to continue to work collectively and collaboratively in order for students to continue to learn. So, with that being said, I want to talk about how do we move this ship that we have to move called student achievement to get everyone involved, everyone on board doing the thing that matters most, and that is learning. How do we move them from isolation into a collective model of teaching and learning? So, I once again propose building a collaborative school through professional learning communities through the work of Richard and Rebecca Defoe. Here you will see a clip of a presentation that I've just recently done at the 2014 National Title I Conference in San Diego, where I'm talking about collaboration and the importance of teachers working together. And I had to acknowledge that journey and respect that journey, but I needed to also take them beyond where they were. So they were working really hard, but I wanted them to work smart. And I had a lot of teachers who were working in isolation. So I had a lot of resistance that first year. And when we're talking about teachers who are used to working by themselves or in isolation, as I just pointed out in the video clip, you may experience some resistance. However, if we help teachers understand the value of working collaboratively, then we will see the improvement among students of poverty and the reading in all areas as well academically. So why PLC or professional learning communities? Because it is the path to change the classroom and what goes on within the classroom. Teachers began to talk. Administrators and teachers begin to talk. Curriculum leaders and teachers and administrators begin to talk. So therefore, the list continues to go on. Everyone is talking about what we need to do that's best for children. So there are some fundamental assumptions about collaboration in school. I won't go through all four of these, but I will highlight the two that I believe will address that teacher isolation. If schools are to develop a collaborative culture, they must overcome a tradition of teacher isolation. In addition to that, if schools are to overcome their tradition of teacher isolation, teachers must learn to work in effective, high-performing teams, meaning everyone is talking about student achievement, analyzing data, everyone is bringing something to the table, everyone has something of value to bring to the table, and everyone's voice needs to be heard. So, some characteristics of professional learning communities: it has a shared mission, vision, values, and goals. They're again moving us away from teacher isolation. It's collaborative in its teams, and its teams are focused on learning. Collective inquiry into best practices and current reality. So, as we talk, as we gather data, as we analyze the data, we begin to talk about the best practices that we can put in place to help our dream become a reality. Also, action orientation and experimentation. It brings us or it moves us into action. Commitment to continuous improvement and its results orientation. So we have to look at, in order to improve what we do, there again, moving toward collaboration. And collaboration actually starts with us, and we are the determining factor if it works or if it does not work. Here's one of my fifth grade teachers who's using technology in her classroom with her students as she's discussing the writing process as fifth grade students are getting ready to take their writing assessments. I know where a buried treasure is, and suddenly it dropped a map. Come follow me, he squawked and flew out the window. Here the teacher is using the Promethean board as a display as she helps students with the writing process and clarifying their thought processes and making corrections as she goes along. Here we have fifth grade students using individual laptops. They're again getting ready for their writing, the writing assessment.
Group 2 has just left me. So group 2 is now working on their writing prompts. Hold on 1 second. Have a seat when you raise your hand. Group 3 now has laptops. Group 4, you are working on your verbs packet.
So there again, you have students working on their individual laptops, and at one point in that particular screenshot, you saw a large display, which was the Promethean board, and the teacher had information posted on or displayed on that board for students to refer to as they are completing their assignments. Here's another situation where another clip where a teacher is using technology in her fifth grade classroom as well.
By now you should be settled in your rotation.
There again, students are working independently, preparing for the writing program, for the writing assessment, and they also are typing their narrative, and the teacher is working with a smaller group in the back as students are working independently with their technology or their laptops. So that's a quick overview of my proposed solution, changes needed to impact student achievement among students of poverty, collaboration. I believe it truly works. And in this data that I have retrieved from various sources, sort of really point to that there is a problem, but I believe that I have two recommendations or two proposals that actually will help improve student achievement. One being the um, the reading program that we want to implement. Secondly, collaboration using PLC. Thank you so much for your time.